Hey, sorry for interrupting. This is Perry Kurtz, and I just want to tell you I've got a new podcast. I know you're saying, oh, great, another one. Well, this one's different. It's called Happy News with Perry Kurtz. Happy news, good stuff, things to make you feel good about life. We're going to be talking to famous and infamous people that are friends of mine and discussing the happy news. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, CastBox, and wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as watching us on Binge on This on YouTube.
Well, what it is, what it do, what it does, and it is your boy, Forever Calvin, back on the microphone, and you're tuned into What's Hood, that's saying. It is your boy, me, Forever Calvin, aka FC, aka No Chicken Allspice. Nah, I'm just joking around, guys. I'm on a good one. I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit faded. I'm always a little bit posted. But hope y'all been good, dog. Hope y'all been blessed. You know, you're listening to What's Hood, episode 37. I want to say, if not 38. Like I said, I'm still working with the numbers right now. Coming back and then, you know, working triple doubles. It's just exhausting sometimes. You feel me? Don't want to hit that triple double overtime or what have you. But hope y'all been good. Hope y'all been great. Hope y'all been blessed. To the new listeners, what's up? What's hood, dog? You listening to me, your boy FC, aka Forever Cabron. Just to give you a retread of the last 30 seconds ago. You feel me? This is What's Hood, dog. This is a place where we sit down and, you know, talk what's happening, what's cracking in the hood. You know, like causa, el movimiento, the whole nine. You feel me? It's a Mesoamerican podcast, dog. We live, we active, we in the cut. You feel me? And I'm going to do this, sprinkle these intros every now and then just to remind people what we about and what we doing out here, you feel me? I just want to make sure that we're reintroduced and reconnected, you feel me? New time listeners, old time listeners, long time listeners, first time listeners, that we fuck with you, we appreciate you, and we do indeed thank you, you feel me? Like I said, the future episodes are coming up. I'm still working in the back of the cut, you feel me? But this week I'm just, I want to take a moment to reflect, dog. Like, I've been following my culture around for a minute, and I've been looking through a whole bunch of social media posts and the whole nine, and it's just maybe I'm late to the party, dog, but I can get what people what people mean when they used to tell me certain things. You feel me? I've always been very pro-indigenous, very pro-brown, very pro-tribal, I guess you can say. You know, I'm pro-Aztec, pro-Mexica. I believe in my indigenous roots, you know. In my younger ages, like it's difficult to explain because I'm not really from out here, you feel me? Like, I grew up in a whole different time and place, a whole different time and place, yeah, dog, like, in a place where they're still trying to eradicate indigenous identity, in a place in which, you know, the revolutionaries, oh man, it is difficult to come to come from a place in where your greatest heroes lost their revolution, but the government's gonna lie to you. And it's interesting enough that right now the 13 colonies, or the legacy of the 13 colonies, are about to witness that firsthand, you know, during this political discussion. We're not gonna get into that shit, dog, because I'm not the Juan, but I'm gonna keep you guys posted up on game for 30 seconds, you feel me? Fuck Goya, you know, fuck that fucking clown, dog. Catch me outside, defund the ops, all of them, you know. And give back the U.S. citizen their liberties and shit like that, you know. But moving on to bigger, greater things, dog. Like, a part of me is very moved to see the paletero, elotero movement kind of proceed forward. And by movement, I mean, you know, people starting to defend the people that have serviced the community for for forever. I'm not gonna stun on you. You feel me? Like, my culture has been out here. My bad for the squeaking sound real quick. I need to get some fresh air. It's hot in here. I'm still working in my recording area, you feel me? But anyways, like I said, it's just really dope to see the compas be all up on it, you feel me? And just finally go out there and defend the loteros and defend paleteros and, you know, hold them down and finally realize, dog, that these motherfuckers walk depending on who you ask, dog, they can walk up towards 50 miles a day, 25 going and 25 coming back on the same fucking street, you feel me? crossing all types of gang territories and unknown associations, you know what I'm saying? And if you really pay attention to the cut, and like if you know your street rules, dog, if you've been outside, you know what the extortion racket is, you feel me? A little bit of protection goes a long way, and not everyone can pack a 9, especially when, you know, documentation is a thing. Defund ICE as well too. Well, technically abolish ICE. I'll fuck the ops. But let me just, like, that's not the bulk of this conversation, you feel me? I've been having conflicting emotions and feelings on certain things, you know, like I've been trying to figure out the best way to approach what's hood and the best way to give out the water that I found or that I carry or whatever you want to call it, you feel me? I find the conversation, and I'm sorry if you guys heard all of this moving or commotion every now and then, you know, I'm just trying to get things set up properly. Yeah, I know how we all become creatures of habit, you feel me? Every now and then things gotta shake up or adjust a little bit, you feel me? But anyways, you know, I've always been down for la causa, you know what I'm saying? Like, down for my people, down for my culture, the whole nine. Give me hold on real quick. But it's one of those things in which I find myself at odds with at times, you know. There's a movie out there called Role Models with Stifler and Ant-Man. I don't know the fucking names, I forget it sometimes. But it's a funny ass movie, and spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. It's at the very ending of the movie, it's a very nerdy thing that happens, and there's LARPing going on, you know. And like I said, when it comes to, you know, going back to the conversation that I want to have today, when it comes to la causa del movimiento, todo eso, there's certain things that I can't relate to at all, you know. And I'm gonna tackle this from this angle, you know. When I talk to people, like people that know me personally, people that I talked to before I even started out this podcast, have known that I've always been pro Mesoamerican, pro indigenous, pro our roots, pro everything that has to do with anything that has to do with everything about the Western Hemisphere, you know, from chiles to tomates to aguacates to featherwork to tribal dances to powwows to eagles to understanding totems, spirit animals, the whole nine. It speaks to me on a different level. It speaks to me on a spiritual one, you feel me? To understand where our ancestors come from, well, how our ancestors interpreted the world, and how I can just mix that into, you know, a broader view it's a matter of a blessing, ¿me entienden? And I know that when I talk to a lot of people and they start looking into it, and mind you, I forget I forget that sometimes, you know, people go deeper looking into what I gotta say. Because mind you, I'm just out here, you feel me? I'm not I'm not a scholar, I'm not a wise man, I'm just someone that's lived life on the other side, you know. On whether it's on the other side of the law, on the other side of the tracks, the other side of the town, I'm just from the other side, locals, you feel me? And I don't mean to, like, it's not a brag, it's not a flex, it's not anything, dog. I'm just from the other side, you know. I grew up in places where tribes made villages. I grew up in places where tribes still exist, and relics are hunted down and sought after and turned into the government so that they can either A, be preserved in their Christian-like in value, or B, destroyed of their satanic-like in value. It is a very fascinating conversation when it comes to our culture, you know. In a few upcoming episodes, I'm still doing a lot more research, but I want to tackle on the subject of Michelangelo. You know, we're coming into the last month of the harvest, which is August, before autumn sets in. And August in ancient Mesoamerican times was the month that the festival of the dead, or the ceremonies of the dead, or whatever you want to call them, rituals happen for the 30 days to celebrate the deceased that have passed on in our life, that we revere, in the whole nine, you know. Like, it's gonna be a topic in What's Hood, you know, and I may revisit that topic time and time and again, because, like I said, you've heard it here if you're a previous listener, if you've heard other if you heard previous episodes, and like I said, it's here for you. You feel me? Like, on the western side of the world, we have a different relationship with death. There's 9 levels. There's 13 heavens. Like, you know, I want to break all that down to the best of my abilities, you know. But like I said it once and I'll say it again, I'm not a scholar. Like, I got no education. I'm from outside, fool, you know. I also want to get into the conversation, the philosophy of the field slave and the campesino, you feel me? And just the inner workings of the house slave and the street Chicano, you know what I'm saying? And we'll get to those conversations, but right now, this one right here, I just, like I said, I've always been pro-Mesoamerican and pro, pre-Hispanic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, eras, So I've always stumbled onto this conversation when people look into it because I forget the power of words sometimes, and that's also another thing that I got to remind you guys about too. It's not about the law of attraction or anything like that, but the power of words is fundamental to being indigenous, to being a mixed seed, to belonging on this part of the world. If there's one thing that the indigenous people know to their very core, is just that the power of speaking your truth, speaking your lie, whatever you speak into existence, that is to ride. You feel me? And the fact that, to be considered royalty, and mind you, it's bloodlines, lo que sea, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like, it don't even matter. Just the simple fact that the word Latuani is translates into English as speaker is so fascinating to me, especially right now that we're in the age of communication, you feel me? But anyways, I forget the power of words and how some people will go back and look into their shit, you feel me? And the funny thing about my shit is the fact that I break bread with almost anyone. I really genuinely do when I say almost anyone, dog, because I'm not going to feed a fucking pigeon or... I'm really dead ass not going to feed a pigeon if I keep it a stack with you guys. Fuck those birds, dog. Fucking invasive ass species. But that's a whole other conversation, you feel me? But when it comes to sharing a meal or sharing a plate or whatever, dog, I got no reproach for the prójimo, you feel me? Like, come on, dog, eat this tortilla, eat this maize, we got this. We only down for the moment, so we only down for, right now, tomorrow will be better. I know this in my core, in my soul, whatever the fuck you want to call it, But anyways, I forget the power of words and just the way they impact people. And I would tell people that, remind them that we're indigenous, remind them that we come from a place of gold, remind them of the value, remind them of that they belong here, you feel me, that they belong on this side of the planet. And they would come back to me weeks later and look at me in my face and laugh at me and tell me, we're not trying to go back to Aztec times, fool. What the fuck you talking about? Like, dog, it's a misinterpretation, you feel me? Because I'm not asking us to go back. I'm asking us to change the way we view things, to change the way we see things, to change the way we decipher things or translate things, you feel me? At the end of the day, if you keep it a stack, and I said this once and I'll say it before and I'll continue saying it, God got here on a boat. Our ideas of deities and gods, like it's not a physical being or a human soul. No, it's a cosmic force. It is sacred energy. It comes from the great beyond. Whatever that means to you and whatever that means to me, dog, it's a conversation to be had, but it comes from beyond us. It is energy, thought, ideas, belief. I mean, if you look at for example, take Walter Mercado, you feel me? Homie was a legend just by telling people to live with love. And that in and of itself is a feat. You feel me? If anything, rest in power to Walter Mercado. I personally feel that fool died a king because that fool spoke his truth with no fucking shame in the game. You feel me? And we should all aspire to do such things, But like I said, I would remind people of the roots, and they would come up to me and remind me that you can't go back. And it's like, dog, I'm not saying go back. And if I keep it a stack with all of you, my conversation of reminding you that you're indigenous, or if you're Latino, that you're indigenous, or that that you're visiting on indigenous land, isn't to motivate you to be indigenous. No, it's for you to show respect to the spaces that you're in, or XYZ, you feel me? One of the things that fascinates me most about this conversation is the fact that ain't no one trying to go back. You feel me? There's an interesting philosophy on the night that Cortez got ran out of Tenochtitlan, and I'm just getting into some Aztec Mexica history. If you know, you know, dog, and if you don't, you don't. That's what's up. That's what it is. That's what's hood. You feel me? But I came across a post a few weeks ago talking about La Noche Triste. And it's one of those things in which some people view that date as, the Spanish, it was the Spanish saddest night. Or it was the indigenous greatest victory. But truth be told, La Noche Triste was triste not because of Cortez, but because the leaders of the Triple Alliance had lost their king. That fool was murdered in their eyes. Cortez and the Spaniards can write whatever the fuck they want in life. I think at the end of the day, we need to remove their titles of conquistador because they didn't conquer shit, dog. They didn't do shit. They pointed guns at indigenous people and forced them to fight. That's the reality. If you keep it a stack. But that's the thing about it, though. I'm not trying to go back. I'm not trying to be a victim of. I'm not. I'm trying to stand side or shoulder to shoulder with my kinfolk to stand against these oppressors. I think they have a place here when they really don't, And if it sounds racist or if it sounds fucked up, guess what? A good vast majority of you came on a boat, but a greater, vaster majority is tied to these lands or tied to these roots. You're not to know it, and I'm no one to tell it. Well, technically I am the one to tell it, but you're not to know it, but it's going to be an interesting episode to see how many people stuck around 16 minutes in, but once again, you're not to know it, but I'm not an accident, baby. I'm not an oopsie. I came inside without nah, dog. I'm born out of rape, fool. Some poor woman crossed the border and had to bear me through some fucking bullshit. You feel me? So when people talk about the raping of the culture, the raping of the women, or the child of rape, how, and mind you, I'm sorry for the lack of trigger warning. You feel me? I forget that's a thing, and I apologize. You feel me? It's again how I'm gonna try to have the homie put a warning in the front end of this. You feel me? I apologize. That shit comes sideways, and I don't mean to trigger anybody, but this is this is someone's reality, dog. You feel me? It's one of those things in which life will tell you or tell me or XYZ, oh, you shouldn't label yourself this and that, but it's not nah, dog. If I'm going to talk about re-owning our culture, if I'm going to talk about possession of self, then you need to understand exactly what the fuck I mean by that, because if I keep it a stack with all of you, nah, dog, some of us out here, we're out here. They say no one has to be here. But for those of us that are born out of tragic circumstances in which a religion that has no sympathy for you or your kind tries to, nah, man, a greater power has led me here to this existence. A greater calling has brought me forth. Life is fucking hilarious. I was talking to the homie Bryan, and I'm not from Guerrero. I'm not from Iguala. I'm from Morelos. So I'm far removed from everything. But I talking doing this show, and knowing what you know about history, whatever. But at the same time that, and mind you, we're gonna get into this eventually. But a while ago, what's the word I'm looking for? All right, during the independence of Mexico from the Spanish crown, at the exact same time, Simón Bolívar was working to liberate Central America. Imagine if those two fools had linked up in forces. Imagine if those two fools had joined forces and liberated not only their areas, but the entire area, from the top to the bottom, and they created a different coalition. Life is wild that way. Plenty of what ifs, you feel me? But like I said, life has a funny way of working itself out, you feel me? If Simon Bolivar and Vicente Guerrero couldn't link up in their lifetime, you feel me? Not to hype myself up or whatever, but you got me here, a descendant of Mesoamericans, and you got, the homie Bryan over there, descendant of, Colombia's legacy, Simon Bolivar. Like, dog, yeah, homie, we down for the cause, homie. And if life has linked us together, it's because history has a whole different other thing for the homie, you feel me? And that's not to say in history or right divinely or whatever the case may be, but dog, thank you for listening to What's Hood, fool. You're learning a little bit more. But going back to the conversation that I was talking about, people remind me that I can't go back to Aztec times. And like I said, as I view things doing with the movement and with todo eso, I find myself feeling some type of way when I hear certain individuals romanticize or bastardize or remove the agency of our culture or of our people. A lot of, for a better lack of a word, Chicanos, Latinxers or whatever, they want to feel tied in deeply into their indigenous roots, and they want to yell "Soy Azteca, Chichimeca, Zapotec, Purepecha" from the top of their lungs, not understanding the complex politics of even those tribes, and to this day and age living oppressed underneath a government that doesn't allow you to go to war the way you used to when you used to be free. The idea of colonization, it doesn't end with colonies or whatever, dog. At the end of the day, these governments aren't for us. And I keep saying that time and time again. But again, we'll get into that conversation eventually. But I look at my culture, I look at my peers, and I ask myself, why are you all so disrespectful to what it is, Revere yourself a god, revere yourself this, bastardize our ideas of marriages or lo que sea. I get it, you want to live in a fairy tale, but how are you going to create a fairy tale at the expense of your indigenous roots and fucking whitewashing them? Just because you're out there praising Tonatiuh or Quetzalcoatl or Huichpotli or fucking my gay goddess. Oh fuck, I fucked up the name. Mayagel. It's one of those. You feel me? What the fuck are you doing? And I get it. People want to feel a sweet connection or a bittersweet connection to the legacy, but dog, there is nothing wrong with taking someone's beating heart out of their chest. There is nothing wrong with holding that individual in regards as an entity or an envoy of a deity or a sacred energy. You feel me? Again, the power of language, the power of kings is to speak. So if you're gonna speak, you gotta be clear with intent. You feel me? But I'm still struggling with this dialogue, and I'm still struggling with this conversation. Just the exact same way once upon a time I struggled with trying to comprehend or understanding La Malinche. It's one of those things in which I myself have to come to grips, I don't get it. I don't understand, and hopefully as time progresses and, as life offers us blessings, I'll be able to interview certain cats that understand that philosophy better than I, and maybe at the end of this journey, I might be one of those introverted or converted individuals, you feel me? But as a homie stands to you as of this day, I don't get it. I don't like the fact that people want to claim an afterlife as Mictlan is just bothersome. Because if you truly believe in indigenous beliefs, Mictlan isn't a place where you rest. Oh, hell the fuck no. Mictlan is a trial of and mind you, we're going to get into this conversation eventually, but Mictlan is a trial of 9 levels to purify your heart, soul, and strip you of your ego. So your idea of loving forever and ever and ever, like, no, it doesn't exist here. It doesn't exist in Miklan. But you have people that want to rob our agency and that they want to bastardize our belief. And it bothers me. And, these individuals probably don't want to have a discourse with me because I'm the type of motherfucker that'll tell you straight to your fucking face, dog. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And it is what it is. And I'm willing to have the conversation with you. The question truly becomes, do you have the heart to have it with me? I was talking to a homie one time not a homie, but a coworker a long time ago, and we were talking just about our indigenous roots and that, and I told him straight out, dog, had I been born in a different time and place, in an era of those Mesoamericans, I would be a preacher of the dead. I would be what you would consider a priest of the dead, a shaman of the dead. Nah, they're not shamans, they're priests. They're the ones that communicate with the holy entities or deities that are beyond the great beyond. You feel me? 13 levels of heaven where you get to meet paradise, a place just specifically for children and women that die in child. Like, and like I said, I feel some type of way, And sometimes I feel disconnected from them because I'm, going back to how I want to present my idea to what's it and how I want to present our idea. Truth be told, dog, I'm proud to be a mixed breed. I'm proud to be a mud. I'm proud to be something that, humanity wants to diminish because it wants to make other people lesser. Take that as you will. I'm proud to be of a tribe of individuals that viewed themselves as gold, viewed themselves made of gold, Everyone, and mind you, I've done it too. You live under the false assumption that a snake is a vile, sinister thing, a treacherous thing, if you would. But truth be told, dog, a snake will look at you and let you know what it is. That you want to trust a dog or a wolf before a snake, dog, that means that you that you don't understand what it's like outside. That you don't get it. If you're going to call two-faced people snakes, dog, I have bad news for you. You know a snake when you see one. They don't hide purposely. They blend in with their background. There is a difference. But it's one of those things that gets misinterpreted. It's one of those things that, people fight so much for the plum serpent. And a part of me wonders why. And I think I know why. And if I say why, people get offended. But it's because it's the closest thing to the white ideology of Christ with no sacrifice and no murder and no... But to understand life is to understand that you're going to suffer. It's all a cycle. That's why to them, every year recycled every 52 years. Guess how many weeks there are in a year? 52. How wrong were they really? Millenniums cut short, ideologies, whatever. But homie, they gave you a map to the stars. They are the reason why you went to fucking space. And you want to diminish them? You want to talk about them as they're dead? Nah, dog. Well, I've said it once and I'll say it again. If you get your information about indigenous people from books, you've been lied to. It's just as simple as that. If you can read a book that's pretend, what's the claim that they're not lying to you? Take everything with a grain of salt and double look for the source and double check and be skeptic, yes, but don't be fucking stupid, you feel me? But anyways, it's one of those things where, like I said, I didn't understand before, and I guess I understand now. No, not really though, dog, because at the end of the day, I need to call those motherfuckers out. But they little bitches, so they block a compa. Dog, I'm telling you, motherfuckers do not want it outside. Delicate ass little hoes. But whatever. Shouts out to those that block me. Shouts out to those that bastardize our ancestors' belief in the whole nine, dog. Like I'll tell you, like I told them, fool, I hope you go back home I hope you go back home. I hope you go to the community where your mom, your dad, and your grandmother grew up in. And I hope you understand what that means and where that's coming from, especially if you're from this side of the planet. And I'm going to give that task to you white folks too. Now go back to Europe. Go back to whatever the side you're from, dog. Understand where you call home. Because out here, fool, I got some bad news for you, I said. We live. And we ain't going nowhere, locals. But check it out, dog. It's been 30 minutes. I appreciate your time. Thank you for letting me ramble on for as long as I did, fools. You listen, you were tuned in to What's Hood, dog, with me, your boy FC, aka Forever Cabron, right here on the microphone. A Goodnight Food Productions right here on the Binge on this channel. And check this out, locals. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you haven't clicked that link for us, dog, please do a solid and do so, homie. The homie Bryan, the homie Sam be trying to get to 100 subs so that way we can be officially youtube.com/binge on this. And wouldn't you just like a better location to click us on instead of having to search for us? But check it out, dog. You're tuning on the Binge on this network, home to Happy News with Perry Kurtz, the Reading Ronin with the homie Bryan, reading you amazing short stories within a 20-30 minute span, dog. Sam of all trades, with the homie Sam, gives you a little bit of everything. You feel me? The homie right now has a great dope episodes, great resources out there too. If you're trying to become an actor or trying, get into that field, dog, that's what's up. So check out Sam of all trades. You feel me? Don't forget the runaway hit, dog. Rolling 420s. Roll yourself up a blunt. Join the Thelonious, Kind Bud, and the gang, and the Talking Dog, fool. Telling you that shit's a trip, fool. And even if you're not into it, dog, just give them a listen. You never know, fool. It might get you to dive in. And of course, the flagship, the El Capitan of our network. This, that, and the other with the homie Bryan and Sam. Hope you guys stay blessed. And a combo will catch you at the next light. Peace.